Welcome to the halftime huddle on Starcade Media. We're going to be breaking down the first half of this Chiefs versus Lions game. So let's get right into it.
You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
All right, Dylan, how you feeling about the first half of this game?
Well, first off, I'm excited that football is finally back. Feels like it's been months. But I wasn't too impressed with the Chiefs offense on the first quarter. They really pulled it together really within the last 4 minutes of the first half.
Yep.
But right now, I'm feeling really good with where the Chiefs are at. I think they're passing the ball very well now. Hope to see the running game get a little bit going in the second half, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. The first couple drives, you could tell it was a little stagnant. They started off a little slow, but then after that, things picked up, especially once they got into that 4-minute offense. Things really started to pick up. You've seen a deep shot to Justin Watson. Rashee Rice really getting involved early here his rookie year. So, that's an encouraging sign to see. So, yeah, that's my thoughts, too. I think so far the defense hasn't looked terrible, though, without Chris Jones. I mean, the rush defense has struggled a little bit, and the front four is struggling to get pass rush without a blitz. But other than that, I mean, the defense has held up. They've created some turnovers. Obviously, Trent McDuffie got a few sacks. Mike Dana's looked really well on the inside. So what's your thoughts on the defense?
Defensively speaking, I think they've done fairly well considering they don't have their best pass rusher in the lineup. Like you said, Mike Dana, he's performed really well. He's always been a really consistent guy. I know we've talked about in the past. He's been really consistent over the years, not giving 12, 13 sacks, but he give you consistent 5, 6 sacks a season. But I like what I'm seeing so far, and I know that Steve Spagnuolo is having to draw blitzes up from these DBs and linebackers and stuff because you don't have Jones. But that Lions offensive line is very tough. They're a very good offensive line. They will just run the ball, play action down your throat. But so far, if the Chiefs can keep doing what they did pretty much the last 5 minutes of the first half, I think we've got real shots come out week 1 with a victory.
Yeah, I agree with that, and especially with the Lions offensive line, we know that they're a top, probably a top 5 unit. So considering that, we got 2 rookies out there, FAU, Keandre Coburn mixing in, and then obviously George Karlaftis coming into his second year. I knew it would be a little bit of a struggle. So hopefully in the second half we see that pick up. I do expect some adjustments to be made by Spags with that over the middle stuff on those play actions, because those have been hitting the whole first half, especially to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you got Nick Bolton playing so close to the line of scrimmage, you might have to drop him a little bit farther back.
Yeah, and I mean, Willie Gay, he's done fairly decent tonight with his coverage. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like everything's meshing. I mean, I know it's week 1, you usually start to see that usually around week 9 or 10 or something. But yeah, they're definitely missing Chris Jones. They definitely are. I know he said yesterday that he could play if a contract got worked out yesterday. I don't think that he really would have been the player he was last year, considering he miss all of training camp. But yeah, I think the defense is performing well with what they have. And like you said, they may have to drop Nick Bolton back into coverage because the play action to Amon-Ra is just kind of gutting us. And I mean, whenever he was coming out of college, I was saying he's going to be that dude. And the Lions were lucky enough to draft him. I wanted the Chiefs to pick him up. He was 4th round mock, but he's played really well for them.
Yeah, and then we got a comment. Will Sky Moore ever become involved in the offense, or we wait until 2025? I think that's a fair point. I thought he would be more involved, right now, especially with Travis Kelce being out. He got a jet sweep. It's kind of looking like he's getting the Mecole Hardman role, which we know is not consistent. So, yeah, I mean, this is a good point.
Yeah, no, Clint makes a really good point with that. I mean, I had really high expectations for Sky Moore, and I know it's only week 1, so we can't really say much, but not really many targets. I know he had that jet sweep, got like 4 yards rushing on that, but hopefully it picks up because he's got the talent. He's got a good release. He's good at running routes. He's a 4-4 type of guy. Usually, what the Chiefs have kind of gone with, faster guy. And the announcers have said tonight he plays like Julian Edelman. Out of
Yep.
the slot, he's just crazy with his releases. So hopefully he comes alive in the second half. But I think what we're really going to see is more of what we've already seen.
Yeah.
Justin Watson, Marquez. I said that Marquez was probably going to be the best receiver the Chiefs have this year, just because he's a veteran. He's been in the
Right.
league 4 or 5 years now, and he's got experience in the offense more than what like Sky Moore has, because Sky Moore didn't get many snaps last year. But
Starting to get pressure, but worried about Justin Reed back there. Sky Moore playing. Yeah, Justin Reed has struggled a little bit in this game. I'll definitely say that. But I feel like why on that one play where he's matched up against Monroe St. Brown, I didn't like that matchup from the jump. I feel like Spags put him in a bad spot there.
yeah, I agree. You'll see it sometimes. Like I remember last year in the divisional round, they had George Karlaftis lined up against Christian Kirk. Like
Right.
sometimes his coverages are a bit weird, but yeah, the pressure is starting to kind of warm up a little bit. I don't know if maybe the Lions' offensive line is getting a little tired or anything, but I hope Justin Reed can pull it together because
Yeah.
he's got the ability to be a leader in that secondary.
Yeah, he definitely is struggling in this first half, but I agree. He's a leader, so I think he'll pull it back together. And I think, a lot of it's to do with the blitzing too. With the way that they're blitzing these guys, they're having to blitz to get pressure. It's putting Justin Reed kind of in a compromised position, but I definitely agree he's struggling.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, one person I was kind of questioning if they're even really playing is Kadarius Toney.
Yeah,
I mean, I know in the offseason the Chiefs believed he could be their number one wide receiver, and I haven't really seen much. I don't know if
no,
maybe he's still dealing with some issues from that surgery that he had during training camp, and maybe they're just kind of reserving him for a little bit. But I haven't really seen much out of really any of the wide receivers besides the main three, Marquez, Justin, and Rasheed. I haven't really
yeah.
seen much.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice has really, surprised me because Andy Reid, he doesn't even play Sky Moore this much. I feel like, and while we're talking about Sky Moore, I feel like Rasheed Rice is getting more playing time right now. Should we be worried about that?
Well, I had very high expectations on Rasheed coming out of college as well. I thought he was more of a ready now receiver than what Sky Moore was last year. I mean, SMU is not much of a bigger school than where Sky went to. I think he went to Western Michigan or
Yeah,
something like
Western
that.
Michigan.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about it, but it is a little bit concerning considering it's the first week of the regular season. Rasheed Rice is a rookie. And I mean, who knows? If it continues like this, Rasheed Rice will have more yards than Sky Moore did last year within like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. I think a lot of that too is, with Travis Kelsey being out, obviously they're going to spread the ball around. At one point, I feel like I think it was Mahomes' first 7 completions were to 7 different receivers. So they're definitely spreading the ball around more. I feel like we need to see a better running game in the second half. And I feel like we've said that about the Chiefs every week, probably going back to last year. We got to get that running game going, especially to Pacheco. I was expecting to see him a little bit more. I was kind of shocked when CH started out the game as in the backfield.
Yeah, I completely agree. That kind of shocked me a little bit too, because Clyde was looked at as a potential trade.
Right.
People were speculating that he wasn't going to be in the roster, myself included, but he somehow managed to work hard enough to stay on the 53. But yeah, I want to see a lot more out of the offense in the running game. Your offensive line is kind of built to eat. I mean, Donovan Smith, I mean, he was a really good run blocker with Tampa Bay back in 2020 when they won the Super Bowl. But yeah, I think they need to actually be more of a balanced offense going forward. Have the ability to run the ball, but have the ability to pass the ball like you're used to.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, that the run game will help that, especially in play action, like what we're seeing the Lions do. That's how they're getting down the field on us is those play actions. I feel like we could use that a little bit. We need to do some play actions. Um, we need to do, some screens. The extension of the run game really hasn't been there either, other than that one jet sweep to Sky Moore and then that one trick play to Kadarius Toney in the red zone. We haven't seen the screens that we're used to and the jet sweeps that we're normally used to seeing.
Yeah, and I mean that's what's kind of scary is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, other than like the first part of 2018 season, his first rookie or his first starting year as a starter with Kareem Hunt, he hasn't had really much of a running game to rely on. And that's the scary thing is the fact that he hasn't actually had a play action to really go off of. He's been torching all these defenses without the play action. So just imagine, how much of a better quarterback he would be if he had a running game to pass, to help complement the offense as far as the passing game goes.
Yeah. And it says get some screens going to McKinnon. I 100% agree with that. I feel like we could benefit from some screens right now. Once we got in that 4-minute offense, though, that's when we really start to see things take a turn. And I'm not surprised, but I definitely know that those Lions safeties are going to be a lot deeper in the second
Oh,
half.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. They got to play deeper with how they finished the first half. I mean, I don't know how far of a game that Justin Watson catch was, but it was over 15, 20 yards, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So, I mean, giving up 2 20-yard plays back to back, I mean, they're going to play a little bit higher whenever the next half starts. But I was literally predicting that the Chiefs were going to win this game whenever I found out that they didn't have Kelsey. I predicted they were going to win this game using the screen pass to McKinnon and running the ball with Pacheco. I thought that was their key to victory when I found out Kelsey was out, but we haven't seen it from McKinnon. He's got that one catch on there for 10 yards, and that's it.
Yeah. I feel like they might be saving McKinnon, though. You don't want to use him right away.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 35 years old or something by
Yeah.
now.
He's a journeyman. You want to keep him fresh for later in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, for being short, our best defensive player and our best receiver, I'm happy with. I agree with that 100%.
Oh, yeah, you got to be proud of what you've done so far. I mean, even if you're not, performing at the rate that you want to perform, they've done pretty good with what they have to work with.
Yeah, for sure. Get Pacheco going. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if something's still going on with his shoulder or what's going on, but I don't really see him in the game a whole lot. I'm seeing Clyde in there a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, me too. CJ Gardner Johnson's talking trash. Still hurt over 50 Super Bowl 57. Yeah.
Man, that dude's butt hurt. He thought he was going to get like a 3 or 4 year extension from the Eagles and ended up signing a 1-year deal with an overhyped team. Feel bad for that guy.
No, I think we definitely need Chris Jones still on this defense, and I think you're seeing that. I know that our defense has been solid in the first half, but imagine what they would be like with Chris Jones out there.
Yeah, I agree. And George looks like actual pro now. Last year was
Yeah.
his rookie year, but he looks so much better this year just from the few, plays that we've seen of him. But I remember it was that first drive. He just came zooming around the edge and almost took Jared Goff down for a sack on the first drive.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he batted that little pass down right before half, too.
Yep.
Almost got a pick.
Yeah.
And Trent McDuffie, his tackling is so solid, man.
It is really something. I thought that was something last year that he did really good at was his tackling, but I'm not sure what the tight end's name is for the Lions, but there was that one play where that tight end got him for a slant route for a gain of like 10 or 12 yards, and he pushed McDuffie back like it was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, for being a smaller guy, I'm surprised by his tackling. Use Ross a little more. I was hoping to see Ross in the red zone on that Rashee Rice touchdown, but I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and I think Chiefs Kingdom's going to be a little bit disappointed with Ross's stats this year, just because you have 7 receivers on the roster. It's the first time it's ever happened in Andy Reid's tenure with the Chiefs. It's going to be hard to spread the ball around and get people catches and yards and stuff like that. It's going to be hard.
Just getting in that rhythm can only be. Yeah, I agree with that. The offense definitely got in rhythm, at the end of that first half. Definitely.
Yeah, and the Chiefs, for some reason, they always run more efficient whenever they're in that no huddle.
Yep.
I think it's because they don't, there's not much time for substitutions, unless you want to take a timeout or something like that. But yeah, I think they got into a really good rhythm at the end of the first half, and I expect that to continue. I also expect to see a little bit more of Rashee Rice in the second half, just because of the rack that he's gotten so far in the first half.
Yeah, Rashee Rice coming out of the draft wasn't really known as an explosive receiver because he had a foot injury in college last year, but the year before that he was very explosive.
Oh yeah, and it looks like that foot's not really bothering him anymore. He looks like he's fully healthy. I know a lot of fans were really concerned about the drops, that he had in preseason, but I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be at the same level of Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase had some really bad drop issues in the preseason as well, and look what that looked like. What came of
Yeah,
that in
Rashee
the
Rice had a
offseason.
drop earlier in the game too.
Yeah, I know some fans were probably, oh, why did we draft this guy? But no, he'll be really good for the Chiefs for years to come.
I agree. Well, I think that wraps it up. The game's about to come back on. It was
Alrighty.
a great show, Dylan.
Yep.